Let's see, why are we?
Okay, I'm good.
Well, we're live. It's Friday.
Yep.
We're gonna have a conversation today,
Okay.
and I want to tell you.
My first disclaimer is that I didn't do it.
Oh, yes, you did. I'm here to tell you you did. So I ride my bike out here. What is it? 5 miles from town.
Yes, it is.
It's a nice ride. It's downhill for the most part from town,
Except you got to ride back.
and then you got to ride back, which is fine. And that ties right in with what I was listening to. I was listening to C.S. Lewis, and he was talking about having perseverance and having faith in God's time. And so I just want to let everybody know how much I appreciate all the faith you've had in me, and I appreciate you having let me have the opportunity to help you with this book, although I haven't helped you very much so far. So I want to ask you guys to buy a book, and it's not about it. It's stories, but it's also about a faith in yourself. Man, mine is from. Oh, it says. Oh, okay. I guess I better put it on, huh? I just want folks to know that it's about having. Good Lord, Ruby, you're a great dog that's in the mouth right now. So maybe she's trying to tell me shut up. Anyway, it's about having faith in animals, in people, in God, and having faith in yourself.
Yep.
And it's just, where is it? Right over here. It's just a lifetime of having faith in all kinds of things, in family. And I got to ask you, do you think? Let's get rid of that. Do you think you were supposed to be a veterinarian, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, yes.
That was your moment in the universe, right?
Right. When I was 14, I realized that.
That you wanted to be a veterinarian. Was
Yes.
there a veterinarian on your farm that came, or do you just
Regular-
realize you
regularly.
enjoyed being with animals?
Regularly, a veterinarian came to my dad's farm.
Do you remember his name?
Lewis Herod.
Lewis Herod. So was he an older veterinarian at the time, or older to you, obviously?
Early 60s.
So he'd been a veterinarian for a while.
Yes.
So in 1914, you were mid-50s.
Yes.
And you were 14, and he was in his 60s. So 40 years from that, he started in the aught tens as a veterinarian. Probably, maybe.
I think he probably started around 1950.
Oh, 1950.
Yeah.
So he was a kind of a latecomer to be a veterinarian.
Yeah, right. No, I don't mean as his age.
Oh.
The year 1950.
1950 is when he started being a veterinarian.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So he wasn't, even though he was in the 60s when he came to your farm, he hadn't been a veterinarian all that long.
Well,
as far as you remember.
Well, you know what? I can't judge. I gave you information that has no validity to it at all.
Okay. Well, anyway, so this guy sowed the seed. Why did he sow the seed? And was there a moment in time that you remembered that I'm going to be a veterinarian, and that's it?
Well, I realized that before I really got to know him.
Mm-hmm.
That was great, and my parents kind of encouraged me that way. In other words, they were proud of me and that sort of thing. And
they said, "Hey, if you want to be a veterinarian, if that's what you want to do, be determined. You're going to be one."
Yes, and the thing is, my mother was a big player in that. She would not tolerate one of her children, as all boys, to have a negative attitude on life. You had to think positive.
And she set the example.
Yes. And the thing of it, yeah, she graduated from college in 1934.
In the height of the Depression, as a woman in
Yeah.
1934. What
Yeah.
college did she go to?
Otterbein College
Otterbein.
in Westerville, Ohio.
And yeah, that's just north of Columbus.
Right.
And Otterbein is still in existence today.
It
And a
is.
fine school.
It is.
Excellent reputation.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So you were 14 and you decided you were going to be a veterinarian. You had some headwinds.
Well, like for instance, my math and
Okay,
chemistry
come here.
teacher,
Come
uh, my math and chemistry teacher, I told him what I wanted to do, and I could tell by his attitude about, yeah, right. That was his attitude. He just,
Now, did you ever get a chance to talk to him or meet him after you became a veterinarian?
no, I didn't.
No.
That'd been fun to do that.
Yeah, well, it'd probably been very fun, especially if you'd gone to his farm or gone to his house or he brought some of his animals to you.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'm sure he would have been delighted.
He taught chemistry and physics. And so he was very intellectual. He was pretty nerdy. And he had very specific rules to follow and what he expected out of you.
Yeah.
And you could tell by his attitude, he thought I wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Well, determination in face of all of that
Right.
has been my key takeaway. Never quit.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my mother. She said she went to college in 1934 without very little support. Graduated in 1934 without very much financial support from her parents. Even went off to college without a
It was the
winter.
middle of the Depression. They probably didn't have any money to help her.
No, I think they did because she had an older brother that they
did
splurged him on joining the fraternity. And
in all fairness, that just wasn't the role for women.
That's right. That is exactly right.
And she made up her mind that that's what she was going to do.
Yeah.
And now she got a degree in social work, right?
And a minor in music. She started out to be exclusively music, and then when later in her college years, she decided to do social work and a minor in music. And she was, to give you an idea, after my brothers and I were born and things had kind of settled down a little bit, she was the organist at our church for 30 years. And
Now,
she was good.
Did you guys have a piano in your home growing up too?
Yes.
Yeah. So she played keyboards,
Yes.
organ, and what have you. Now, you guys grew up in a Methodist church?
Yes.
Is that your tradition?
Yes.
And then, of course, you're Grafton Methodist now? Or
No, it's
not a Methodist.
non-denominational.
Non-denominational. But for the most part, you attended Urbana United Methodist Church
That's right.
for many years.
Yes, I did. I was a 50-year member there.
No. So let's getting back to being 14 years old and deciding you wanted to be a veterinarian. Do you remember what particular instance it was, or just came into your mind at a point in time, and that's just decided that's what you were going to do?
Watching Dr. Herod work and stuff he did, and my mom and dad encouraged me in that direction. Their philosophy is, hey, your brothers all want to be farmers, and if you want to be a veterinarian, it will take the pressure off of us a little bit. And because they were very much involved with my brothers in farming, that means that they had to get each of them get their own operation. But when
that's a big deal. Even back then, that was a big deal.
Yes. Yeah.
And land didn't cost $11,000 an acre.
Right. Well, try 20,000 an acre. But at any rate, the thing of it is, they were very much into that, and
they've still farmed. They farmed their whole lives.
Yes, they would finance the ground, but they would not give it to you, and you'd pay 4% interest. So that was a huge issue. And if you couldn't make the payment, nobody said a word until you kind of recovered and got things going.
Yeah. So, but farming back then was tough.
It was.
I mean, you didn't now farmers are kind of specialized. They're a grain farmer or chicken or swine
or
or
dairy.
feedlot. We don't dairy. We don't really have farms now, with some exceptions, that are like yours. Your mother had 300 chickens. You had sheep. You had swine.
Right.
You had cattle. You had dairy
Well,
cattle.
the family
You did
had those.
grain. You did grains.
Yeah.
And your dad did
And
grain
we
too.
had beef cattle.
You had beef cattle.
And my mother sold
Big
eggs.
garden too, I'm going to guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
My mother sold eggs at the back door. There was a number of people that come to the house, and she was fair with them. And quite honestly, it also was a great place to catch up on the gossip.
Well, and that's another part of it. I mean, you grew up in a tight-knit community.
Oh, very much. And
People, if you made a mistake or did something wrong, oftentimes your parents knew about it before you got home.
well, they
For the
found
most
out
part.
pretty quick
Yeah.
because my aunt was the high school secretary.
So she was right there. She was right in the center.
She knew.
She was right in the nerve center of
Yeah.
what was going
The
on.
only advantage to it was in the early years, we did not have a telephone.
So when did you guys get a telephone? Do you remember?
Oh, probably 1955.
1955.
And
it wasn't, you couldn't get a telephone. It's probably they didn't run the cable out past your place by then.
well, my dad had to pay for it.
Had to pay for the wiring.
Right. In other words, they come by the end of the road, and we were a half mile down the road, and my dad paid for the line to be built down to our house. And our first phone number was 673.
673. Yep. So when I was growing up, you could dial 5 numbers
Yes.
and we still had party lines.
Well, these were party lines too.
Yeah. So you shared that tip and ring with other people.
Yeah.
So if you pick it up, you could hear somebody talking on the line and say, well, hey, I need to use the phone. Can you give me a minute? Yeah, we'll be done here in a few minutes.
Well, they weren't always terribly cooperative, but and frankly, my mom and dad kind of had an attitude about that because they paid for the line to be built down our road, and other people got the benefit of that, and they kind of had their authority about what they were going to do on the line when in fact my dad had paid for it.
Well, I imagine he made his point.
They were polite. They never, but behind the scenes, they'd grumble about it.
Yeah. Well, I know somebody else about that, like that a little bit. And that you share in your book some of the grumblings of what you've had, and I won't call it grumblings, but some of the stories that you've had with some of these people over the years.
Right.
And you're head scratching while you're telling the story, because you were head scratching then, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, and the one that comes to mind is the level-headed guy. He's got tobacco juice running out of both sides of his mouth, so he's level-headed.
Yeah.
So you decided when you were 14, watching the vet, were you just fascinated by the ability to solve the animal problem, or?
I loved animals. I didn't really think about, yes, I didn't really think about I could be the solutions to them. And it wasn't until I kind of got into it did I realize how important that part of it was.
So you've loved animals your whole life.
Yes.
And I know you've told a story, you had rabbits.
Yes.
And when you first had, you were, what did you tell me, 9 or 10 years old, something like that?
10.
10. And you had rabbits and you took them to the grocery store, but it means you had to clean them up.
Well, yes, we had to process them at home.
So you weren't real keen about that.
Well, I would conveniently be busy someplace else when I wasn't around, and my dad and one of my brothers would dress them out. And you had to leave the hind feet on them so that the grocery store knew they weren't cats.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, the fur and everything?
You took the fur off and so forth. And,
but you just took it so you could see that they didn't have the retractable claws.
Yes.
As a cat.
Yeah.
So, but you kind of got over that. You kind of got past that part.
Yes, yes. It took a while.
Yeah. So, and so you can speak with authority when you're talking to a 4-H kid about a little 10 or 11-year, 12-year-old whose animals going to market, and maybe your children were attached to some of their animals too when they were
Oh,
young.
absolutely. Absolutely. Same sort of thing.
And then you've helped. So your wife, God love her, she put down when I was there. What?
My first wife passed away 10 years ago, and she was a veterinarian also. And we built this incredibly good practice in Urbana, Ohio.
I won't say incredibly good practice. I'll say you guys were just were just legendary. And I'll tell you, Dr. Judy put down 4 animals, and I was there. And from the time the first one was when I was 9 years old, we put down Sam, and he was just poor old. He came to us. This dog came to us, and in the middle of winter, he's sitting out on our glass door, and when we weren't looking, he wasn't shivering, but when we were looking, he was shivering. I kid you not. And so after a couple of nights, my dad let him into the garage one night, and then after that, the next night he was in the house. And he was in the house for the rest. We had him for 7 or 8 years maybe,
Uh-huh.
and he just lost control. He was just undignified. He was urinating on himself and defecating on himself. So there wasn't much we could do
Right, right.
except put him down. But I remember I was probably a little older than 10 or 11 years old, and it was very traumatic because Sam followed me around the whole neighborhood. Back in that day, you didn't have to have your dogs leashed or what have you, and so our dogs would follow us around all day
Right,
long
right.
wherever we went. And our parents would ring the bell or whistle for us, and the dogs would start herding us back to where we were supposed to be. And my mother, I remember her saying she felt some comfort because Sam was with me and knew that he'd keep an eye on me. So, uh, but anyway, when we had to put him down, that was traumatic. But your wife was very kind about the whole thing and explained to me why this is something that we need to do, and talked about, there's a better place for animals too.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Now,
animals only live so long, and
and the
that you had to be fair to the animal too.
thing about my wife, Dr. Judy, was that she was kind and gentle with pets. And although she could do cows and horses as good as I could, and
I heard tell she said you probably a little better.
well, it could have been.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
well, she
Yeah.
graduated summa cum laude from vet school, and I graduated laude how come.
Well, don't sell yourself short.
So the thing of it is with her is though when she had taken care of an animal from the time it was a puppy and ultimately when it needed put down or euthanized, and she'd do that and have a brave face, but she'd always reserved 5 or 10 minutes for herself and went back in the kennel or someplace where nobody could see her, and she'd cry.
Well, I knew she took care of. We had after we got done with Sam, we got a little miniature dachshund, and I picked it up when my parents were out of town. My One of my parents' friends was looking after me, and so we went and picked him up. And wasn't long after that, he was attacked by a Great Dane, and this dog was all of maybe 6 or 7 pounds,
Yeah.
and was attacked by a Great Dane, and my dad got him away from the Great Dane, but he had a terrible set of puncture wounds in his chest, and so we took him to Dr. Judy, and she came. She took her a while to get him stitched up,
Yeah.
but a couple of days later he started having seizures. So she took care of him and gave us phenobarbital and what have you to knock down the seizures and everything.
Yeah.
And but anyway, when we came time to put him down, he was, golly, I was an adult when he was 14 or 15, and I remember we put him down, and he decided he wasn't quite ready to go yet because he reached out and bit me a little bit. Said, "No, I'm not ready yet." Well, he was, and I still have a little scar on my finger where he got me. But anyway, she said, "Well, I need to stitch you up too." I said, "No." But anyway, so that it's all about faith in animals, and then you've had a lot of faith in people over the years too.
Yes, yes. Many people returned that faith, and a few didn't. And you just chalked it up as for what it was, and went on.
So and ultimately, you grew up in the church,
Yes,
but faith is an important part of your life, and been an important part of your life
right,
for almost
right,
all your life.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there maybe was in vet school, maybe a 6 or 8 week stretch that I did not go to church, and I got back in the groove. And other than being away on trips or something like that, I'm and my wife are in church every Sunday.
Yeah. Unless you had a call.
Well, yes, that was the other thing that happened is that the thing about our practice that made us so popular is you could call us day or night, and if you legitimately had an emergency, 3 o'clock in the morning or Sunday at time for church or whenever it was, we would come take care of it.
Well, Pat Pond, who lived down the road from us,
Yes.
she let everybody know, and she was uh she was an awesome lady. Lived toward North Carolina, and her sons and my brothers and I ran around with all her sons, and she had a real penchant for animals.
Yeah.
And we lived at kind of a dead end, and people would drop off animals, and then there they are.
Yeah.
And I remember one time an animal was, I don't know what had happened, but the animal was chewed up, and Judy came to to see about the animal, but it was the poor animal was too torn up, and so she put him down. But
Yeah.
yeah, we all the kids we were all there. I knew that was kind of tough because there was, you know, we were all kind of
Everybody was
pulling.
watching.
Everybody's watching, and that was probably in the early '70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so a veterinarian, you were really part of the community in a big way. A little different than veterinarians are now. Veterinarians provide a service and they
Yeah.
look at companion animals, but people were very intimate with their animals because there was their livelihood.
Well, and certainly we had a personal relationship with our clients, but society was somewhat different then than it is now. Now everybody's got their own little niche and they're hung up in that and don't bother me with this other stuff or whatever, or this is the way I'm going to do things. And in those days, people were more accommodating, more communicative about issues, and you could talk to people about the things that are going on. And it's not near as much so now as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, we won't try to figure that out. We can't solve those
No,
problems.
no.
But I just want to have a conversation. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate, this the time we've had, and looking forward to the more time we have to share some of the wonderful stories that you've encountered over the years. And the people need to hear that. People need to know that it gets better. And this is a great piece right here. It's called Beyond the Barn.
Right.
Dodge and Cow Page for 50 years as a country vet. And it's available on your website at Vaca Resources,
Yes.
VACA, which is Vaca which
It's
is
Spanish for cow.
Spanish for cow. How did you ever come up with Spanish for cow?
Well, the thing is, at the time, my practice our practice had veered towards doing food animals. That was cows and pigs more than even horses and that sort of thing. And we had a tremendous companion animal practice, dogs and cats and so forth like that. And ultimately, I was being sought out for different things, and I had through a special program, had managed to become a board certified reproduction specialist uh, called theriogenology.
Oh, I still can't say that word yet.
And the thing is, to give you an idea, at that time there was like 300 theriogenologists in this country. So it was kind of an elite group to hang out with and going to their meetings. And today there is probably 3,000 veterinarians practicing theratogenology. But I went one step farther and actually became board certified specialist in theratogenology. And that led to having more even of a national practice. Well, then I wrote a book on dairy cattle management, and that it took me 3 years to do it.
This is your first book right here. No,
No,
this is
it's out of print.
it's out of print. We don't have that copy sitting here.
No, well, we got one, but I'd have to go dig it up.
Yep.
But
You mean you
anyway,
buried it out in the backyard?
no, no. And the thing of it is, I swore off I'd never write another book, but that book really put me on the national stage as a veterinarian. And I was sought out in California and just lots of places. I think about the only state I wasn't in is maybe Delaware, but I'd been many, many places. And I swore off I was never going to write another book again because it took 3 years to do it. And 10 years later, I said, well, maybe I ought to do another one. Well, that time, having the experience of what I needed to really go through, I wrote a new book called Milk Them for All They're Worth.
This one right here.
Good
book for lawyers because that's what they do, right?
Yes.
Did I say that out loud?
Yes.
I'll probably get sued for that.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, that book went really well. But even more importantly is that it was ordered by a Japanese nutrition company in Japan, and it got translated into Japanese. And after it was out there, then it meant that I went to Japan and spent 2 weeks delivering presentations every day, a day of travel and 2 or 3 days of speaking and whatever. And I'm talking about all day, all over Japan. And then from there, the Chinese realized what was going on. And as a result, it got translated into Chinese. And I've been all over, and I got invited to China, and I've been all over China except for Tibet. And I've been there.
I don't think they allow too many foreigners in Tibet because they don't want to find out what they're doing in Tibet.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, I've been in China 9 times, been in Korea, well, then South America, in Colombia, in FARC country, which means the drug cartel. And they gave me a pager, and I'm going, why do I need a pager? We were driving around the country, and the bridges in southern Colombia had all been blown up, so we had to cross rivers in that 4-wheel drive truck and that sort of thing. And we did mostly. And I had that pager with me, and I'm going, why have I got that? And I was hired by the World Bank to be there, and the World Bank official told me, he said, that's not a pager for you. If you fear for your life, hit the button and the Army will come get you. And that was in.
You hope the Army can come get you.
That was the Colombia drug cartel that was doing that. And then Nicaragua and Puerto Rico and Russia and Mongolia.
Ukraine.
And yes, I've been in the Ukraine. Actually, I saw yesterday they blew up where I'd given 3 days worth of talks.
Oh, really?
In
Kyiv.
Yeah, and that was a nice building.
Well, I'm going to have coffee with a gentleman who spent a lot of time in Ukraine next week, and so I'm going to find out what he has to say and have a conversation.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. He has worked with children in Kyiv and well all over the country, and I'm going to be real interested and to see what he has to say.
Right.
Yeah. So he's a veteran of the United States Army, a combat veteran, and so look forward to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate giving me the opportunity to have a conversation and appreciate letting me illustrate the front of this guy. I can't remember who the guy is on the front. So anyway, But I earnestly really want you guys to go out and get this book because it's a very inspirational book. You won't read it. It's a very easy read. It's very enjoyable read. It's 67 stories, so you can read a piece at a time. But then you start to think about it, and it it really it really will speak to you after you've read it. So I strongly encourage you guys to get it and read it. It's available on your website,
Yes.
vacaresources.com, and you'll sign it
Yes, I will.
and you'll ship it out mostly that day, unless it's Monday or Sunday
More Labor Day.
or Labor Day, Monday. And you can get it on Amazon, and you got to type in the full title to find it. I'll put the link. I'll put the link in the details. Um, did I get that wrong, Ruby? Ruby's over here telling me maybe I got that wrong. No, Amazon. It's on Amazon, and plus you can get it as Kindle.
Right.
So um, if we sell a few books, we might get it narrated. We got to sell a few books, but anyway. So I will say it's very personable, and it reminds me a lot of the read from another veterinarian of All Creatures Great and Small.
Yes.
So I think it's on that level of excellence. So
Yes.
I really dig. So
And
I'm not getting paid to say that. So
his books were not terribly popular in Europe, but somebody brought one of them to the States and it went like wildfire. And that's how All Creatures Great and Small went really well.
and became a TV series in England.
Yes. Yes.
Eventually. So
And
it was published in the 50s.
60s, I think.
60s, yeah.
I had met him and his, I think, cousin or whatever that.
You've met most of the well-known vets in this country, haven't you?
Yes.
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 You met Dr. Pohl,
Yes.
and you met Baxter Black.
Yes.
He was very popular. What, the 90s, early 2000s?
Yes.
Has he passed away?
He has.
Yeah. He was a little older than you, I think.
No.
No?
No, I'm older than him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you must be doing well. Anyway, God calls us when God calls us. There's nothing we're gonna do about it. So
he was the guy that he practices for several years and wrote poetry, and ultimately his poetry got published, and that led to getting invited to speak places. And he actually spoke in Champaign County, Ohio, at a banquet, and I'll never forget. He was quoting poetry and understand there was a lot of humor in his poetry.
it was wonderful stuff. I think he has a book there's a book out of his poetry, and you can look him up on YouTube and listen to him, because he was on David Letterman and he was on Jay Leno, and he was on several shows.
And to give you an idea of the stuff he would do, and he kind of was noted that when he was in school, he was a party animal. And the thing of it is, when he came here to speak, it was a banquet, and he was the keynote speaker, and we had 300 people there lined up, and it was in a school gymnasium, so we had lunch tables that were set up with chairs, and he had his cowboy boots on and his cowboy hat, and he got up and walked up and down the tables quoting poetry
off the top of his head. Poetry that he wrote off the top of his head,
and
because that's what he was famous for.
And it was hilarious. It was hilarious, the kind of stuff that went on with that.
Well, we're going to call it a day. We'll be back on Monday.
Okay.
Are we going to be back on Monday on Labor Day?
Yes, we are.
Okay, well, give me an excuse to ride my bike out here on Monday afternoon.
Okay.
So anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Have a blessed weekend. And go out and buy that book. All right.
Thank you.
Goodbye now.
Goodbye. Have a great weekend.